Hey everybody, this is Rykard here again, and welcome to another Pokemon X and Y news update. Since E3 has been going on, there has been a bit more information released since the video I made yesterday, so I figured I'd make another one. Also, the Koro magazine has been released as well, where we have a bunch of information from that as well. So there are 3 posts on this website that I'm just going to kind of gloss through. You guys can look at them for more greater detail if you would like to. It's actually called pokebeach.com. It's a website I didn't even know about, but it has been very good for giving you Pokemon information and summing it up very nicely. So, to start things off, the first thing that is going to be implemented in Pokemon X and Y is that you will be able to actually choose the language when you get the game, which is something that should just be implemented in every single game from now on. I believe this is the new standard. It makes it easier to do a worldwide release. It also makes it easier on people who may be in a country that does not speak their native language. So, like, say, for example, someone who Spanish is their first language, they're in America, where English is the native language. They want to buy a game, though, but it will be in English. But you know what would be 5,000 times easier? If they could set it to their native language and play the game in Spanish. That's amazing. I think that is the greatest idea that has ever come about in this game. I don't even care about the game itself. This feature is just amazing. So that's awesome. I do care about the game, but the fact that this is in the game is awesome. I love it. Another thing that is implemented is the player search system, which is the way, or it seems like an easier way to find local or global people to trade with or battle with. So that's really cool. It seems like it'll be an easier system to go through Wi-Fi. And it's been confirmed that you can have up to 100 friends at the same time, which is a lot. So that's really cool. There were 3 Pokemon shown in this post, which is Skrelp, Clauncher, and Talonflame. There's a picture above. I will show you them then. So I'll get to that in a second. There was also something that mentioned how there are other Pokemon that are going to be rideable other than Goat. So it actually showed a Rhyhorn being ridden at one point in this roundtable thing that this guy who took these notes from. He said Rhydon, but it's actually a Rhyhorn. There were also 2 types of battles introduced, new types of battles. So the first one is Horde Encounters. There's a picture above, I'll show you that. But it's basically 1 versus 5, which is really cool because this makes complete sense to me. It's something that happened all the time in the TV show. You would always, it was like in the 2nd episode or something where Ash ran into like 8 Beedrill in the forest. It happens in the show. It makes sense for it to happen in the game. Also, it's an amazing way to gain experience because you're killing a lot of Pokemon at the same time to level up really quickly. So if there's some way to possibly force these encounters, you could make leveling in this game significantly easier than it ever has been, which is really cool. There was also another type of battling confirmed known as Sky Battles, which is a type of battle that takes place in the sky. It's available presumably only for flying-type Pokemon and levitators, so that's kind of cool. There were no other specific mechanics introduced about this, so who knows if there's like some gimmick with this type of battle. Not really gimmick in the negative sense, just like what is the catch? Why would you do a sky battle as opposed to another battle where you could still just do it with only flying types or levitators, you know? So there has to be something that we'll learn about in a moment or so, a couple of weeks, maybe days, I don't know, where we'll learn more about that. Also, they mentioned how they introduced the fairy type to combat the imbalance of dragon types, which is what I thought, and it makes sense to see how they're actually trying to balance the game out. So that's really cool. As for pictures from before, so here's what a sky battle looks like. You can see how it takes place in air. You got Haunter, a levitator, up against Talonflame, who's one of the new Pokemon, which I will get to in a second. And then here's what a Horde encounter looks like, where you have Chespin right here against 3 Axew. Or sorry, 5 Axew. I was seeing the 3 Pokeballs right here. So 5 Axew. So that's what that looks like. It's not necessarily going to be the same Pokemon, by the way, so there can be other types of Pokemon in a Horde battle, so it won't just be one type. Also, they said that they were going to try and make EVs and IVs more visible, which is something else. What was I going to talk about? Also, the game music will be less digitalized. I'm always a fan of that. I love music, obviously. It's my college major, so anything that will make the game sound better is really cool. And they asked about Mewtwo farms, but they didn't say anything about it because they didn't want to comment it. I believe the question that was asked was something along the lines of, like, could you explain how these happen? Also, is Mewtwo going to be in the new Smash game? And they were like, we're not going to say anything about that. Kind of funny, just to, you know, hear how people are trying to keep things keep things secret for the time being. As for this next post, first of all, I would just want to talk about the Pokemon first. So this is Skrelp. This is the water poison Pokemon. It's supposed to be like a combination of a seahorse and kelp, which you can see right there in its color scheme. This is Talonflame, which is the evolved form of Fletchling. It's fire flying, so the people that were like, oh, a lot of types that aren't fire types can learn, what is it, Flame Charge. So, it's probably not going to be fire flying, so screw you guys who thought I was wrong. I was correct. I called it from the beginning. Ha! Anyway, so that's Talonflame. It's the evolved form of Fletchling. And this is Clauncher, which is, I guess, some type of crustacean. And there's a little bit more information on that right here. It says how Clauncher can learn Swords Dance and Crab Hammer. So it is pretty similar to Crawdaunt and Kingler. So nothing new there, I guess. But it's still a cool looking guy. Skrelp also is known for being able to use Sludge Bomb. Boom Burst, which is a move I speculated yesterday to be a Dragon type, is actually a normal type move, so that's kind of cool. Just to know what that is right off the bat. They also talked about the art style, how they tried to make it mimic the artist Ken Sugimori's art style in game and 3D models. That's kind of cool. Now here is the big post that kind of worried me a little bit because I don't know how this is going to be implemented over Wi-Fi. But they said using Pokemon Ami, which is that new feature that allows you to interact with your Pokemon in a different way. Pretty cool feature. Something that I'm not particularly interested in unless this actually applies. But it's still a cool feature for you to actually like feel like you're taking care of your Pokemon instead of them being your slaves. But Pokemon Ami can help your Pokemon get benefits like more critical hits or dodging more attacks. Now this is a big thing because if your Pokemon can land more critical hits, you would just obviously use the feature to allow them to do that, and if you can dodge moves that have normally 100% accuracy, you would obviously use the feature to do that. So whether or not this ability or this feature is going to be implemented over Wi-Fi is a big question right now, and if it is, would it be banned in competitive play? That is my question. I think that's pretty much all the other information on this particular post. They mentioned how it was intentionally put in France just to represent beauty and things like that, so that's kind of cool. Let's see. They ask about the evil team or whatever, but they didn't comment on that at the time. I'm assuming you will learn about that later. Also, they said that, okay, so more on the riding Pokemon thing, they were saying how riding a Rhyhorn may be more beneficial to you if you're riding it in a rocky area as opposed to a good goat, which might be better over like a grassy field or something like that. So I'm curious as to how this feature is going to be implemented in all honesty, which is kind of cool. There's another gameplay trailer which shows Sky Battles. You can check that out. But okay, as for the Koro magazine stuff, this information came out like an hour ago, so I'm trying to get you updated with it as quickly as possible. So, first Pokemon introduced. This is called Shishiko. This is a Lion Cub. It is Fire Normal. I am always a fan of adding normal typing, so you have double stab on this thing, which is really awesome. Or it means that the normal type will turn into something else later, which is really cool. Either way, this is what this guy looks like. Really cool looking thing. It's like Simba. This Shishiko is its Japanese name at the moment, so I'm assuming we will get the English name soon. That's just something to make note of. It has a new move called Warcry, which apparently lowers the target's attack. I don't see how that's any different than Growl, though. So maybe it'll lower their attack by 2 stages or something? We'll see. I'm not really sure, but it seems like it's a cool debuff move, maybe, if it's just new. There's another Pokemon as well, known as Furabebe, or Furabebe. It's this little fairy thing. And it says that it's a fairy type. It can learn Fairy Wind, so it's our second mono fairy type that we are introduced to. And when it's born, it looks for a flower and stays with it its entire life. So there may be Furabebe that are capable of holding on to different flowers. So it'll kind of create like the whole Spinda effect, where you had Spinda that had different like spot patterns in 3rd gen. Maybe there'll be this Pokemon with different flowers. That's really cool. They showed the full evolution chain of the villain. While that picture didn't really get that big, known as Kofukimushi and Kofuurai, which are the I guess like the Kakuna and the Weedle versions of it. So similar concept. These are the Japanese names as well, but Spewpa is actually the name of the original form of this Pokemon. Both of these are mono bug, but the villain is obviously the bug flying type. As for a couple of other people, Pansy and Viola Our this is actually one of the gym leaders. She's a bug type gym leader. I think it's in the first city. And Pansy on the left is just a Pokemon that's going to appear on the TV show, so that's kind of cool. And then we have other friends. So this is going to be, let's see, it's Taroba, Tieruno, and Sana, which this is Sana. But these are like the most generic friend people in any like Japanese show. Like there's always the fat kid, there's always like the dorky kid, and there's always like the stupid like girly girl. I don't know why it's a thing, but that's always. Also, fat kid has a picture of a Vanillish on his shirt, which is just reinforcing the stereotype of ice cream eating. I don't even understand. It's just, I just thought it was really stupid, but it's cool, I guess, because it's just nice to know that you have other friends and stuff. But it talks about how the starting town is Asame Town, so that's kind of cool. You all come from there. So like in Gen 5, where you had 2 friends, you actually have, I guess, 3. And there's also going to be someone else who I guess will be your rival, or you will, sorry, the opposite gender character, who is Callum or Serena. So that is pretty much all the information we got. So I hope you guys enjoyed me going through this. Obviously, if you want to know more, check out the pokebeach.com website, because that's where I got all this information from and just kind of read it through. So anyways, what do you guys think about the new information we just got? We got a ton yesterday, but what about the information you got today? Let me know in the comments. But as always, that is it for this video, everyone. So as always, take care, goodbye, and I will see you all next time.